New research by Women's Refuge has revealed the extent to which domestic abusers use animals to control their victims. A survey of almost 1,000 women showed just over half delayed leaving their partners over fear their pets will be injured or killed. Now, a new animal refuge centre is being set up to help those escaping domestic violence with pets. One woman, who we'll call Joan to protect her identity, was married to a violent and abusive man for 22 years in Australia before she left him to start a new life in New Zealand. She told me how her husband would regularly abuse the family's pet cat and dog.
My ex was physically violent, so hit, kick, and neglect, really. If he was left on his own with the animals, if I went away for a while, I was never really confident that they would be fed, watered. They certainly weren't walked, and there wasn't sort of any engagement, day-to-day engagement, really. It was just another thing in the house.
What pets did you have?
We had a cat and a dog.
So, given the experience you had, can you appreciate how some women feel that they can't leave because they'd be forced to leave their pets behind, and what that does to them emotionally and the guilt they feel about that?
Oh, yes. I think it would be a major contributing factor for women leaving a violent relationship. First of all, there's the terribly sad issue of the children, and just because the parents can't get along doesn't mean they can't engage with the children in a healthy, productive way. Always talking about the parent that the child has been visiting, that sort of a thing. But when it comes to pets, I should imagine the pets would be second after the children. If I were in a situation where I was in immediate danger and I really had to get out of the house in a hurry, I'd run the cops, sort of a thing. This was back in the day, and I was back in Sydney. I can't imagine that the cops would have allowed me to take my dogs and cats with me. And I think it would have been. Well, I think it would have been a major consideration. Do I go and leave the animals behind or not? I think I probably would have made some effort to try and relocate the animals to somebody I knew. If there was such a thing as a refuge for pets, that would be such a key component. It means you know that your animals are being cared for in a safe environment whilst you have the opportunity to deal with yourself. As you know, when you go through those really serious situations, everything is really overwhelming, and psychologists and psychiatrists sort of encourage you not to look at a big picture full of problems, but to look at those problems and break them down into their various components. So simply, one might be possessions, children, animals. And so if you can deal with one aspect of it, it frees up time and energy to focus on other issues that you need to deal with.
How important do you think pets are in a domestic violence situation? You said that, animals don't judge you. They give you kind of unconditional affection. How important are they when you're in a relationship that is going so horribly bad?
I think it's really key important. It's just like a human being in that there is somebody there sharing your journey. Not judgmental, and especially for children, a bit like a teddy bear or something. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, Jesus, it's been so many years, yet it still hurts. Okay, next question.
So your pets were a form of comfort for you in those times?
Yeah. I think in a lot of cases it also gives people a reason to keep going. Some people might give up, either commit suicide, try and harm themselves, or just disappear, leaving children and animals. Yeah.